Jason, kind of start off with you. Why is alignment so important?
It's
Why
a
are we even
great,
talking about this?
yeah, great question to start with. And I love the idea of getting everyone here to come back and put in what they're going to be bold, because as you said at the beginning, that's really our whole premise here as to what can you do differently. I think there's a number of key things here, and you and I spoke this week and last week about this, Jason, is that first of all, business models have fundamentally shifted. The sale is no longer just about that first transaction. A sale is about an ongoing relationship that we want to last for multiple years. And in effect, when you come up to renewals, every single renewal is a sale. And we need everybody to think about it. We need customer success and sales to be so aligned that we can resell the service, the technology year on year on year. I think it's really important to try and change the conversation. There's a lot of talk about in organizations who owns the customer. No one really does. It's the customer owns the customer. Your business is providing your services to the customer. Sales don't own the customer. Customer success don't. It's not just about landing the deal. It's about how do you get the customer to want to stay with you and retain business with you. So how do you want them to renew 1 year in the future, renew few years in the future? And you've got to shift from the idea of it just being a single sale. I think that's one of the biggest things now. Both you and I, Jason, have come from kind of the
Hmm.
on-prem world, where we've sold and worked with licenses on customer sales, and quite often the sales guys do disappear. They're still there, but they're working on the next big deals. It's shifted massively now. When you're looking at a renewal, what you want everyone to start doing is thinking in. We talked about a 5-year sales effort. What can you do from that first engagement to get the customer to renew next year, the next year, and think that your renewal is a sale? And this is why I think you see challenges for some CS folk coming into it, that it isn't just about the operational, the trust, the relationship side. There is a commercial side to customer success, and we're going to do another webinar on the whole financial side of it. But the renewal is a sale, and you need the customer success team to be involved in that and work with sales to think about that. What we want sales to sell is not just for new logos, but sell for renewals and help them do that. And I think we talked about this the other day, but it's the idea
Yeah.
of sales not being an event. It's not a one-off, but think of it as a chain. The sales part of it is so critical. It's that start of the relationship. It's not a transaction. How do you, when you're starting those engagements with your customers, how do you get them or how do you get you guys rather to be their ideal vendor? There's a lot of talk, and we've talked before about the ideal customer profile, but for our customers, they've got an ideal vendor profile. But we want the sales guys to understand what is it our customers are looking for. How do they start that conversation about building the relationships? And really, I think the key message is we've got to start thinking longer term. Got to shift that focus from being about these quarters figures, next quarter's figures. How do you get people thinking about do the sale so that they will renew in a year's time? Do the sale that they will renew in 2 years' time? So get sales to think longer, and try and
Hmm.
get customer success on the flip side to think shorter term. How do you get everything up and running and delivering as quickly as we can for the customer?
Yeah,
Any
I
other
think that.
add on that, Jason?
Yeah, I think you really hit on it too, because the idea of selling for a sales chain too. I think historically there's been a lot of, especially like with CRM and major systems, where frankly people oversold the initial sell, and they set a bad expectation of licenses that were things that were never used, that sat on the shelf and never got used, and then back then, if you were just buying maintenance revenue, okay, you're stuck with them. But now, if you oversell to begin with, that really tarnishes the relationship and hurts your ability to want to do more business with the vendor in the future. So making sure that sales is really hitting the market is going to be a pretty key thing.